Ooh. Man, oh man. When it rains, it pours, guys. I mean, holy shit. Hey Richard, last minute stream. Oh yeah. So this is something I wasn't going to do today. But I saw the news about Xbox and I thought, well, never mind that. like this is wow. This is I thought PlayStation was going to have like the biggest news story of the week with them shutting down Bluepoint. But here we go. I'm now going to read to you an article from IGN and brace yourself if you have not seen this yet because it is quite something. Phil Spencer is retiring from Xbox and Sarah Bond will be out. Matt Booty promoted as Microsoft AI exec. Asha Sharma named new Xbox boss. So, there you have it. Phil Spencer, the very long time head of Xbox since the beginning of the Xbox One era, ever since Don Matrick left, Phil Spencer has been the top dog at Xbox, and this is it. This is the end of the era with Xbox. Any like tiny little microscopic little bit of an identity that Xbox had as their past self as a console brand is going to follow Phil Spencer right out the door. And he's going to retire this Monday, like this soon. And probably the biggest surprise, like I kind of figured Phil Spencer was going to go down with the ship anyway at some point, because there's only so many times you can get kicked in the ass before you're just like, nope, I'm out of here. But yeah, Clay is actually the one who beat you to it this time, Richard. Richard is actually normally the one that breaks stories to me if I'm away from my computer or away from my phone. He's the one that did the breaking of the Bluepoint thing to me, but Clay beat you to it this time because it just, woo! Woo! This is something. I will say, I've made my dislike of Sarah Bond not like not subtle whatsoever. It's pretty obvious if you followed my content for any length of time how much I've disliked Sarah Bond. Like how much of like a corporate shark she obviously is, and how much like fake gamer Sarah Bond she is. But this is like good on her for leaving, And I think, I was one of those people who assumed for a long time that Sarah Bond was going to be the next president of Xbox, because that just naturally seemed to be the way the wind was blowing. But no, I assume Satya Nadella and the higher ups that be at Microsoft basically looked at Sarah Bond and went, you know what? You're not AI driven enough. So we need to bring in somebody that is going to be way more AI hungry than you are, Miss Bond, or Mrs. Bond, or I don't know if she's married or not. So we're going to bring in Asha Sharma, who, like it says here, is currently the president of Microsoft's core AI product. And finally, of all people that are still there, of the three, Matt Booty is going to be there, and he's going to get promoted again. Again, this guy is going to get promoted again. He was already promoted a few years ago, undeservingly, in my opinion, because Matt Booty is a really bad manager. But this guy is just failing up. Just, man, I wish, like, at any of the jobs I worked at, I wish I could fuck up as badly as Matt Booty has done over the last decade and still have a job and not only have a job and get promoted, of all things. That is crazy. Like, of all the, dude, he needs to be given the boot. Not like, no pun intended, like, get him out of here too. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and, like, cry that Phil Spencer's leaving. I'm not gonna sit here and cry that Sarah Bond is leaving. Like, good riddance, in my opinion, because I think those two, like, all three of them have just been, like, the Three Stooges when it comes to this, like, new Xbox leadership of just this, like, double speak corpo bullshit, them putting their fucking foot in their mouths every time they talk. I mean, it's just, like, them, like, contradicting themselves constantly. Sarah Bond sounding like a fucking robot when asked about why they closed Tango Gameworks. I mean, like, I would actually say there's 4 people that I blame for, like, how Xbox has been doing over the last 10 years. Or longer, actually, the last 12 years. It's Don Matrick, the big one. I actually don't put Sarah Bond in this yet because of, you know, she's like a recent addition. Phil Spencer, definitely. Matt Booty, definitely. And Aaron Greenberg, who's like the marketing lead at Xbox. Why is Matt Booty and Aaron Greenberg still here? Why are they still here? Like, sure, Phil Spencer, yeah, okay, goodbye. Like, see you later. Okay. Sarah Bond, okay, fine. See you later. Though I will give her credit. She was not as much of a corpo shark as I expected. Because she has the sense to just leave. She's just like, you know what? I didn't get chosen as the president because I'm not as money hungry and AI hungry as Asha Sharma is, so I'm just gonna leave. Fuck it. I'm not gonna work under this. And you know what? Good for her. Hey Nero, how's it going? Good for her. I can respect that decision, you know? I can respect that. But no, you're late. You're not late. I just started not that long ago. But this is a bad sign. And just to, like, show you guys even more, here is Asha Sharma's profile on Microsoft's website. Asha Sharma, this is going to be the next Xbox president, by the way. Asha Sharma is president, leading product developer for Microsoft's Core AI product. In this role, she oversees the teams and technologies that power AI across Microsoft and its enterprise customers, spanning critical infrastructure, foundation models, and end-to-end tool chains for building, managing, and deploying AI and agentic applications. Her portfolio includes Azure AI Foundry, Azure OpenAI Service, Azure Machine Learning, Responsible AI, AI Search, customizable APIs, and Azure AI Services. She also leads applied engineering, computational engineering, and growth for Microsoft's Core AI division. Prior to joining Microsoft, Sharma served as COO of Instacart, with full P&L responsibility overseeing product design, data science, research, marketing, operations, customer service, and new business initiatives. Earlier, as vice president of product at Meta, she oversaw Messenger, Instagram Direct, Messenger Kids, blah, 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 blah. Literally the worst. Outside of Satya Nadella, the worst person to be the new president of Xbox. The worst. This is like somebody within Sony. I don't know who the big AI person is within Sony, but I imagine there's somebody there. It's like them replacing Herman Hulst as the next, like, president of PlayStation Studios. It's like that level kind of thing. Like, Herman Hulst is a fucking imbecile, but at least he's not this. At least he's not this. Like, there is always worse. And this is worse. Absolutely, this is worse. Like, I don't care how much you hate Herman Hulse. This is worse. Somebody who is the president of core AI product at Microsoft is going to be the next big wig at Xbox. Insane. I mean, that is like, and like I know Phil Spencer also has this memo that he shared, but it is like it's like so filled with just corpo speak garbage, and it's just like he's ending with his fucking Xbox Live tag. It's like a very fitting end to his reign as Xbox president, with this like big corpo shit that Phil Spencer likes to do, always loved to do. But this is just, man, I mean, and it's crazy too that he's leaving now, and it's like going to be in what, like 3 days he's out, so he has the weekend and then he's done on Monday. It's crazy. I mean, it's like this. I imagine, because there have been rumors floating around for a while. Excuse me while I take a sip of water. There have been rumors floating around for a while that the next big round of layoffs at Microsoft is going to be happening within the first quarter of this year. Excuse me, I bumped my mic. And I can honestly imagine this. I don't care how much Phil Spencer says, like, oh, I've been thinking about retiring. I would believe it more if he was given more time to leave. But the fact that, like, he's done as of Monday, like 3 days from now, this had to be like, I'm done. I can't keep doing this anymore with these layoffs and more like pushing AI on our teams to use AI and whatnot. I can't do this anymore. I can only do this for so long before I break. And the fact that Satya Nadella AOK'd the president of core AI product at Microsoft, I mean, that tells me everything I need. Like, I don't need to read any of this. It's exactly what you'd expect. Like, I want to congratulate Matt on his promotion to EVP and CCO. Sarah Bond has decided to leave. And like talking about her and whatnot. But I mean, it's just I imagine that this is not the only like major news we're gonna get over the next few weeks from Xbox. I imagine the next round of layoffs are coming soon, just because I think that's I think that's just what's happening here. I think Phil Spencer finally was just like, I've had enough, and it's just done. He's just like piecing out. So, oh, hold on. Clay sent me something. What'd you send me, Clay? Oh no, never mind. You didn't. I thought you sent me something. It gave me like a notification that you sent me something. Oh well. So let me read the chat. It's mainly from Richard and Clay, but I'll gladly answer their questions. What were you even doing when you saw the news on Bluepoint? What was I doing? I think I was letting my dogs out. Yeah, I was letting my dogs out yesterday. And then Richard sent me the statement. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, I just like, I think I stood there and just kind of zoned out for a few seconds. Like, my brain left my body, and I just was like, what? When I saw that Bluepoint was getting shut down. I mean, that was crazy. That's like on the level of something like this, where it's just like, whoa, where it's like cataclysmic kind of shit. And I'll have more to say about Bluepoint at a later date. I don't want to make this all about Bluepoint, but LMAO, me and Richard bringing in the tome of bad news for game companies. Booty living up to his name. Yeah, really. Like, dude, why? Why of all people? Why of all people would you promote Matt Booty? Oh, wait, did he really say this in his... Wait. Wait. Sharma... Oh, she wrote something. My first... I'm sure it's just corpo bullshit, but... Alright, so this is what Sharma is saying in her email to Microsoft staff. I just saw this. My first job is simple. Understand... Oh, God, I already don't want to read this. Because it's just bullshit. Okay, I promoted Matt Booty in honor of this commitment. He understands the craft and the challenges of building great games. Where are the great games? What are you talking about, lady? Where are the great games? Where are they? You had Tango make Hi-Fi Rush, and then you were gonna kill them. That's your best game this generation, in my opinion. And you fucking killed them. You tried to, but then Krafton bought them. I don't know what's gonna end up being a worse fate for Tango. I don't believe this shit either. The second the return of Xbox? Like, what do you mean the return of... Like, you're not even selling like a traditional console next gen. You're selling a fucking PC hybrid that's gonna cost anywhere between like $1,200 to $1,500. What are you talking about? It's, again, this is all bullshit. Gaming now, blah, blah, blah. They're blah, blah, blah. Third future play, blah, blah, blah. Talking about. But we will not... Wait, whoa, hold on. To meet the moment, we will invent new business models and new ways to play by leaning into what we already have. Iconic teams, characters, and worlds that people love. But we will not treat those worlds as static IP to milk and monetize. Oh, come on. Oh, come on. Like, come on. It's one thing to do like corpo speak, but this is just like insulting my intelligence at this point. You absolutely are going to treat these worlds as static IP to milk and monetize. You already do. Are you kidding me? You already do. As monetization and oh my god, no way. There's no way this is real. There's no way she wrote this. This utter shite. As monetization and AI evolve and influence this future, we will not chase short-term efficiency or flood our ecosystem with soulless AI slop. Games are and always will be art crafted by humans and created with the most innovative technology provided by us. Like AI! That's going to replace human jobs! I can't believe... Like, she's already doing it. She hasn't even been in the role yet, and she's already doing, like, the hello, fellow gamers. I'm cool, and I'm hip. I'm gonna call things AI slop. Soulless AI slop. Ugh. Hate her already. Get her the fuck out of here. Yeah, really. Where's Banjo-Kazooie? Yeah, you wanna prove this? Mrs. Sharma, or whatever the fuck? Mrs.? I don't know. Sharma? Give me Banjo-Kazooie 3. That'll maybe go towards, like, me endearing to you more toward than I did Phil Spencer. But, man, oh, God. This is just insulting my intelligence. Like, come on, man. Come on with this. Hey, Red Robot, how are you? Come on. Like, what is this? Why are we trying to do this hello fellow kids thing? Like, come on, dude. Like, there are times where I feel like I'm the old man yelling at clouds at some point. Like, I'm in my 30s and I'm kind of just like, I'm like, man, I'm really getting up there in age. Like, I'm probably phasing out. But then I read things like this and I still feel like that, like, like I get that, like, just disgust in my stomach where I'm just like, oh, dude. What are you doing? Like, why are you writing things like this? This is not going to... What do you think this is going to do? What do you think this is going to do? Endear you to gamers? Are you stupid? I know you run AI at Microsoft and your brain is probably like broken with AI, but oh my god, I can't even look at that. Oh, and Matt Booty. Matt Booty has an email. Oh great. Let's see what this dumb shit has to say. Um Looking forward, I'm excited to partner with Asha as our next CEO. Our first conversation centered on her commitment to making great games and the role that plays in in our overall success. She asks questions, pushes for clarity. Yeah, I bet she asks questions. I bet she does, Mr. Booty. I bet she does. I bet she asks, where can we cut? Where can we cut human jobs and replace them with AI? Like, give me a fucking break. Pushes for clarity and wants our choices grounded in player and developer needs. Right, sure. That mindset matters as the industry around us is changing quickly. How players engage, there's that fucking word again, how games are made, and how business models and platforms evolve. We have good reasons to believe in what's ahead. This organization and its franchises have navigated change for decades, and our strength comes from teams who know how to adapt and keep delivering. That confidence is grounded in a strong pipeline of established franchises, new bets we believe in, and clear player demand for what we are building. Yeah, new bets. Yeah, that really rings authentic when last year or the last few years you have like killed off studios and just thrown new franchises that had potential in the trash. Said you were going to give Arcane Austin another chance to redeem themselves after forcing Redfall onto them and then threw them in the trash. And then Tango Gameworks gave you Hi-Fi Rush, your best new IP in like 20 years, in my opinion, probably since Gears of War. And you threw that in the trash. It's like, just, oh my god. Anyway, this is all just like other shit, but yeah, this is, it's over. I mean, it's over, gang. I mean, anyone that had any kind of like minute hope in Xbox at this point, it's time to. The war is over. Like it's time to come back home. It's time to call it in. Like it's just done. Like guys, it's just done. So anyway, sorry, Richard. Let me go back to some of the comments. Microsoft, I think, needs new blood, or either people who give a shit about, or either people who give a shit about getting us new games. I mean, that's definitely not going to happen with Asha Sharma. I mean, like, anyone who believes this, like, corpo drivel that she's speaking is just, they either have not paid attention to this industry long enough, or they're like, it's almost like they are so blind by Xbox's, like the fanboyism that it's like, they have no sense of just anything around them. It's like the people on the PlayStation side who cheered when Bluepoint was shut down. It's like, good, they didn't make anything for the last 5 years. They deserve to go. It's like, yeah, I wonder why. I wonder why they didn't make anything the last 5 years. Fucking morons. So, a gaming world without Xbox. Never thought I'd ever see this. No, I never thought I'd see this either. And like I said, when I talked about the death knell of Xbox when they announced, or the what did I call it? The death cry, the death rattle. There we go. The death rattle of Xbox, which was Halo coming to PlayStation, and that like really like looking remake of theirs of Combat Evolved. Even when I was at my most fanboyish when it came to PlayStation, I never wanted this to happen. Like I never wanted Xbox to turn into this. Like Xbox needed PlayStation as much as like PlayStation needed Xbox. It breeds good healthy competition. But now it just seems like, man, it's over, Johnny. It's over. Oh goody, a bitch who likes AI is going to be leading Xbox. Ray. Oh, she doesn't just like AI, Clay. She loves AI. Loves it. The president of Microsoft's core AI product. That's how much she loves AI. Does she even like video games? I bet she's gonna be like Jim Ryan, where she's just gonna talk about like whatever is the most recent thing, and talk about how like I played this recent game from Xbox called Fable, and I was so overwhelmed by emotions because of the pixels and the graphical fidelity. Like, I imagine she's gonna say some shit like that, like what Jimmy Boy used to do, or when you ask or if you ask Herman Hulst, like, "Hey, dude, what are you playing recently?" I'm playing. I can't do a good Herman Hulst voice, but he just sounds so boring. He just sounds like, "I'm playing Horizon Hunters Gathering. I push buttons on the controller, and it felt good when I saw a purple laser come out of my character's bow and hit a robot in the face. Because I cannot feel real things in my everyday life, I rely on video games to give me an idea of what a spark of feeling could be in humanity. When I play as Aloy in Horizon, aka the only games I actually play, I feel that I am not an android. I feel that I am a human." And I imagine Sharma is going to have some similar crap like that, because that's just how these people talk now. None of these executives talk like how Shuhei Yoshida and Peter Moore and Sean Layden, even Phil Spencer. I'll give Phil Spencer credit on this. Is that long ago, before like more and more of the corpo got injected into him, when you would actually talk to him about video games, he actually like sounded like he was just like an average person. Like, he actually knew what the fuck he was talking about with video games. This was like a long time ago. I mean, hell, Peter Moore, who's pictured here, who was like one of the big Xbox people like back in the 360 days. You talk to him about video games, he actually sounded like he knew what the fuck he was talking about. Even Jack Tretton, who used to be the president of PlayStation way long ago, I'll give him credit that it's like he knew what the fuck he was talking about. It's like, sure, he was a corpo. He probably didn't play many video games, but he didn't sound like a fucking android when you asked him about video games. Andrew House obviously knew what he was doing. He immediately jumped at the chance to get Kojima on board with PlayStation. I doubt Asha Sharma would see much value in OD. I really doubt it. I mean, Phil Spencer, to his credit, I mean, he pursued a relationship with Kojima as well. He knows what's up in that respect, I guess. But LMAO, probably not. This is like with YouTube's new CEO and how he's pro AI. Oh, really? Oh, God. At least Herman Hulst isn't possibly going to include AI with PlayStation products. Not yet. Not yet. I haven't looked at it yet, or I've looked at it, but I haven't gone over it on the channel yet because I'm saving it for another live stream. But we'll go over I almost said Phil Spencer. Herman Hulst's bullshit statement to the other teams at PlayStation regarding the closure of Bluepoint. How ridiculous it sounds. But not yet. It's there's some hints that AI might be coming in that letter, in my opinion. What if they're low key being laid off? I don't think they're being laid off. I think I mean, Sarah Bond definitely was not laid off. She was retired. She's done. She resigned because she wasn't named the next president. Which, again, I don't blame her because they were obviously grooming her for that position. Matt Booty didn't get laid off. I don't think Aaron Greenberg's getting laid off, even though he probably should be because he sucks as a marketer. And Phil Spencer's... I imagine Phil Spencer just had enough and just was like, I'm done. Like I said, I would kind of believe that he had been... I believe it in a sense that he had been planning to retire for a while, kind of been floating the idea maybe to Nadella. But this just feels like I'm out. I'm done. I can't do this anymore. You're going to tell me to cut more costs and get AI more in there. No, I'm not doing this anymore. Because he wouldn't be leaving this soon. Nobody who is leaving like a carefully planned like exit strategy who's leaving and while also announcing your assumed protege is resigning. No way this has been in the works for months. This is a very like this probably happened like yesterday or maybe even today. Maybe yesterday. But I'll be dead before a new Banjo ever comes out. Oh, I hear you. I hear you, dude. I cringed to... Oh, sorry, hold on. I cringed to the fact that that version of Siri is Cortana. Oh, I forgot about that. AI replacing human is backfiring little by little too. Yeah, thankfully. There are things AI still can't do. Yeah, it's over, Sora. You should have seen my face when I saw Forza Horizon in the PlayStation Store for the first time. I mean, it's like it's quite shocking. It really is quite shocking. Like even though I've had a few years to kind of like accumulate, what, I'm accumulate. Thank you. I'm just trying to think of what word I wanted to say. I was really gonna like accumulate to seeing these Xbox games on... Sorry, I'm also a little distracted because I'm getting texts from people who are finding out about this news and texting me as well. But it just feels wrong. You know? I know people are probably used to it by now and probably don't really... Probably much more apathetic about it than I am. Seeing long Xbox franchises on PlayStation at this point. But it is... I don't know. It just doesn't sit right with me, you know? It just feels very weird. But thank you for coming by, RJ Emerson. Hey, XYZ. How are you? I'd respect Microsoft more if they just admitted they want to move on from Xbox instead of being so half-hearted about it. I can agree with that. Like, I you know, it still would be really like shitty and corporate of Microsoft to announce that they're just like getting rid of the Xbox brand and just making all their shit just like Microsoft gaming, because I think that's where that's going to go anyway, or some other stupid name. But I agree with you. Like, I would have more respect if they just came out and Microsoft was just like, yeah, we're done with Xbox. Like, you know, we tried, it was a failure. Phil Spencer played a big role in that failure. Like, Matt Booty, huge role in that failure. And yet he's getting a fucking promotion. Like, he's got to have some dirt on some of the higher ups at Microsoft. There's no way. He's got to have a picture or two of them like snorting cocaine off of somebody's butt or something. Like, you know, he's got to have some kind of dirt. This guy just keeps failing up. Even like Herman Hulse, like, he didn't get fired after Concord, but he got a demotion. He got like something at least. Like, this guy, on the other hand, Matt Booty has had an embarrassing number of fuck ups, and he's the CCO now. It's like, man, just the corporate world. It's like a totally different planet to me, how these people think. And I imagine a lot of it's just like simple office politics and being like buddy with higher ups and whatnot. Maybe Matt Booty is like sleeping with somebody higher up at Xbox or sorry, at Microsoft, or he's related to one of them, or they're just really good golfing buddies. I don't know. It's like, it could really just be something as petty as that, or simple as that. But Maybe he like kissed Asha Sharma's ass much more than Phil Spencer and Sarah Bond did, and that's how he stayed and got the promotion. But like, if there's one guy besides an open or like an AI tech, like one person you do not want as the head of Xbox right now, it is Matt Booty. Like, I almost think maybe like he was maybe expecting to become the president of Xbox as well. And maybe he all along was much more of the corpo shark. I just saw him as like some doofus for a long time. But maybe he is like way more of the corpo shark, like the secret corpo shark, than Sarah Bond was. Because like I can, to be fair to Sarah Bond and Matt Booty, I know how it feels to want a promotion for a position and then have somebody like else promoted completely out of the blue. Like, I understand how that feels. I've been in that situation before at one of my past jobs. Like, I get it. I understand it. I understand how frustrating it is. But like I said, good on Sarah Bond for leaving. But Matt Booty, I guess he just doesn't have enough money or whatever, and he's just like, yeah, I'm just gonna keep working here and keep fucking up Xbox and running that shit into the ground, like way more into the ground than it already is, trying to reach the center of the earth at this point. With how much I suck. I don't remember which episode of it is, but if you've ever seen the documentary behind the making of Psychonauts 2, there's a really good clip in it that kind of defines what Matt Booty is like as a leader, like his mindset. And I like, you know what? Let me try to find it. Give me just a sec, everybody. Let me try to find it, because for the purposes of this, it actually is quite useful. Let me see if I can find it. It's the episode where they were bought out by Microsoft, I think. I think this is the one. Hold on. Is this the full? I don't think we need to see the full thing, but this is like, yeah. So here, this is from their documentary called I think it's called Psycho Odyssey. I think that's the name of the documentary. Deciding. Let's see. It's the moment. I'm trying to find the exact moment when Matt Booty comes in and starts like telling Double Fine like what's what with them not being unable to like moonlight other projects.
Matt Booty changed my mind about acquisition because I was not looking to get acquired, and I asked him, because we were talking about it, and asked him how it had gone in the past and what their philosophy was about it. So I had to read stuff off my phone just because I couldn't print anything with our printer, but it's fine. We assigned a letter of intent with Microsoft to acquire Double Fine. So Double Fine will be becoming part of Xbox Game Studios. And what does this mean for us?
It sounds like everything will at least stay the same, if not get better.
I have a real deep appreciation for the craft of making games. On his whiteboard, somebody walked in and crossed out the C and put a K. Our goal is to change as absolutely little about this studio as possible. If you are making something that directly competes or conflicts,
here's the moment. I want you to pay attention to what. Let me rewind this for a sec. I want you all to pay very close attention to what Matt Booty is about to say, because I feel like this defines Xbox's leadership as like this guy.
Absolutely little about this studio as possible. If you are making something that directly competes or conflicts with what happens here, it'll boil down to making a game.
It's just that the thing is, it's like corporations like Microsoft always have the advantage.
So if you really want to go run a startup, quit and go run a startup, right? The reality is that once something is kind of in these walls, Double Fine owns it.
And we've always maintained that we don't own those.
Yeah, we're gonna have to sort through that, because I don't know, someday down the road we might want to go back and say, ha, that was a great idea, you know, we should go make that game.
Right. So that pretty much says all that needs to be said. So if you don't understand what that was, Matt Booty basically came in to Double Fine, and there's a thing in this industry, in the games industry, where certain teams have certain cultures where their devs are allowed to make side projects and monetize them on the side. And they, like, it depends on the company. Like, most companies don't allow their devs to do this. Like, Activision Blizzard famously does this, where if somebody makes a mod from one of the games that they make at Blizzard, then Activision owns that completely, and by extension Xbox does. So Double Fine for a long time has, I don't know what it is like now. I'd probably have to go and take a look, but for a long time, Double Fine, because they were such an independent company, Tim Schafer put in a thing where if a developer at Double Fine is working on a side project, then Double Fine does not have the rights to that project, as even if the developer monetizes it and it becomes successful. That is the person's creative work. They are allowed to make money from it. They're allowed the full rights to it. That does not belong to Double Fine. However, what Matt Booty is coming in and saying is basically no, we're, if one of your developers makes something that we like, then that's too bad. We're going to own that too. And he just said, our job is to come in and change as little as possible. And then, typical of an Xbox executive, Matt Booty then just completely contradicts himself.
Something that directly competes or conflicts with what happens here. It'll boil down to making a game.
It's just that the thing is, it's like corporations like Microsoft always have the advantage.
So if you really want to go run a startup, quit and go run a startup.
It's like, he basically just told her, yeah, go fuck yourself. That's not happening here. He just said, go fuck yourself. And then I think this is an edited version of that documentary as well. But let me see if I can find the raw clip from it, just so I can show you guys. I don't know if he edited out anything or whatnot, but it's a really great documentary series. I highly recommend it if you have the time to watch it. I highly recommend checking it out. It is a fantastic documentary series. It is raw, it is uncomfortable at times, but it does give you a really big insight into how a game is made. Let me see if I can find, what episode is this from? Damn, I forgot which episode this is from, but maybe they tell me in the... No. Okay. Well, anyway, so here's more of Matt Booty. I'm going to show more though, because Matt Booty is a moron, and I want to give you all an idea of Matt Booty, how he operates.
Crossed out the C and put a K.
Oh no, that's the same thing. So anyway, for the sake of it, I'm gonna repeat this all again. So just so you all understand. Oh, episode 27.
So,
Okay.
Matt Booty, who is the He was the person who actually changed my mind about acquisition because I was not looking to get acquired, and I asked him, because we were talking about it, and asked him how it had gone in the past and what their philosophy was about it. How they're not trying to turn them into Microsoft Studios and hang their logos up on the front door and
this
send
is
your emails
the
over and get us to do things differently. They want us to just stay who we are and do things our way.
unedited version.
Two-Player Productions takes over that documentary periods. They linger and staying here and they're just documenting everything we do.
For real?
And I wanted him to come down and let the team ask all the questions.
You can tell just how uncomfortable Matt Booty is that he is going to be on camera for this very like potentially contentious meeting.
Just quickly, a little bit about me, and I'll only share that just so that I hope I can impart that I have a real deep appreciation for the craft of making games and what you do day to day. I started making games back at a place in Chicago called Midway. I worked on pinball games and video games. It's funny seeing like Mortal Kombat up there. I worked with Ed Boon back when on his whiteboard somebody walked in and crossed out the C and put a K. So I remember when that happened. I have a pretty strict rule about not sticking my nose into game design. I am here to tell you, and I will say, that our goal is to change as absolutely little about this studio as possible. One of the things, and then we can just open it up to questions, but I just want to address one thing because it kept coming up. Moonlighting only really starts to be something that we even really need to have a conversation about is if you are making something that directly competes or conflicts with what happens here. And that really is going to boil down to making a game.
It's just that the thing is, it's like corporations like Microsoft always have the advantage. Because I've seen this happen to friends of mine who have released games, and this has happened, and then the company has gone after them, and they were like, even though they had a nice little handshake agreement, they still ended up having to pay that company.
So if you really want to go run a startup, quit and go run a startup, right? And so I'm not trying to chase anybody away. That's not trying to be
Just yeah. I mean, that face says it all right there.
harsh language. But if you work on something and suddenly
That
it starts
says
to
it all too, right there. That guy with his little like comfy
harsh
chair.
language. But if you work
Right there, that guy just like, oh fuck.
on something and suddenly it starts to pick up traction and you're like, hey, this thing is going big, I think you've got a choice as a person to make. The reality is that once something is kind of in these walls, Double Fine owns it.
We have always, as a company, said that we don't own the ideas until we actually produce them in the Amnesia Fortnite game jam. But before people submit them, they work on them in their own time, on their own computers, and they do, at some point, tell the ideas. And a lot of them don't get selected, and we've always maintained that we don't own those.
Yeah, we're going to have to sort through that because I don't know, someday down the road we might want to go back and say, ha, that was a great idea, you know, we should go make that game, right?
Yeah.
And that right there, that exemplifies corporate video gaming. Like Matt Booty could not have exemplified that more perfectly if I tried. Like if he tried. Like really that's perfect. Like he just was like, "Oh, somebody in our team is working on a passionate thing and it's really successful. That's ours now. We want that. That's ours. Yeah. We had nothing to do with it, but that's ours. Yeah. You're gonna have to kick some money our way." This is the guy. That guy is gonna be the new CCO. This asshole who has just butchered Xbox's momentum these past like 12, 13 years. He's going to be the new CCO. Ay, ay, ay. I mean, man. You know what's interesting too about this? I think it comes up later in this documentary. But we'll do it later.
A lot of them don't get selected, and we've always maintained that we don't own those.
Yeah, we're going to have to sort through that because I don't know, someday down the road we might want to go back and say, ha, that was a great idea, you know, we should go make that game, right?
Yeah, I mean, it is something we have to figure.
Just a picture is worth 1,000 words.
We're doing that process right now, and people are already pitching based on that promise that I already made.
Yeah.
That we don't know.
Good on Tim Schafer too here. Like, you know, I'm still like not crazy about him selling out his company to Xbox, but like good on him for actually standing up to Matt Booty in this room.
No.
Because that's what we've done for years.
So, yeah. So, and I'm not out, like, anything that you've done like that, well, we'll honor that, right? But I would say that before you do the next one, we got to clean that up a little bit, because it's a messy boundary, right? Over time, you're just going to we have to establish trust, right? Like, trust is earned, it's not given. So we got to earn your trust. I'm confident that we can work out something that's good for everybody. Yeah.
And so they had tough questions about that. I think he answered them. All right. Well, thanks for coming, everybody. Thank you. Good job, young man. Good job. Well spoken. Well spoken. But in general, they don't. All those questions make it seem like people are really nervous about it. I think some people have a lot of questions about the acquisition, but I think most people are just really excited.
But anyway, I mean, this clip to me is like so interesting. Like this to me is probably, I would say, one of 2 clips in this documentary that I always like go back to and watch, because to me, like, this moment represents so much about what I dislike about Xbox. Like, that kind of mindset that Matt Booty has. But Asha Sharma's vision of Xbox is really going to include these guys? Really? Like, in this new, like, AI-powered, AI-driven kind of thing? She's really going to look at Double Fine with their, like, weird, quirky games like Keeper that don't sell, like, anything, and Kiln, that pottery game that's, like, not going to do fucking anything, and she's going to go, yeah, keep them going. Yeah. I think they're based out of, like, LA or San Francisco, I believe. I think. Where is Double Fine located? I think they're either in San Francisco or... Yeah, San Francisco. Very expensive to run a game studio out of. You're telling me that she is going to look at these guys and continue to give them the thumbs up. Like, yep, no layoffs here. No AI here. Now, granted, Tim Schafer might have something in the contract to where they can't come in and start bullying them around with this, because that was one of the stipulations that allowed them to acquire Double Fine. That's a possibility. But really? Like, I just can't envision a future where Asha Sharma is going to look at the spreadsheet and get the word from Satya Nadella to trim even more fat, and it's not going to eventually come to these guys. Like, I feel like I really feel like Double Fine is on some kind of, like, ticking clock. Like, I know they're, like, weird and quirky, and I know Xbox likes to parade them out and as like, they're like, see, we like weird and quirky stuff too. We're totally not corpo AI driven. We like weird and quirky too. But you're telling me that she's not going to look at these guys? Oh, the time is coming. Like, I guarantee you all, like, there's going to come a day where either, like, layoffs are going to hit Double Fine, or they're just going to get shut down entirely. There's no way. Like, if Bluepoint Games can get shut down, like, I know it's different companies, but they have the same kind of, like, weird corpo brain rot. If a studio is as well liked and respected and successful as Bluepoint can get shut down, I think Double Fine's days are numbered. That's just unfortunately, I think that's just the case. But there's one more clip I want to play from this documentary, and then I'll get back to the questions in the chat. But next clip is from a man maybe some of you have heard, called Greg Rice. And Greg Rice, I think he is still at PlayStation, but when it was announced that Microsoft was going to acquire Double Fine, Greg Rice, when he was at Double Fine, he was the head of producing games at Double Fine because they used to be a producer as well. And or a publisher, I'm sorry, not a producer. Same thing, I guess. He used to be like head of publishing at Double Fine because they used to publish some games. But once Xbox came in, that job basically was made obsolete. So where does Greg Rice go? He goes to PlayStation. And this man eventually becomes Shuhei Yoshida's like protege in the indie
Marketing
scene.
shows up, then we
In the indie scene at PlayStation. So you'll see the clip from
have
here.
problems.
I don't think they're coming to the Christmas party. It's just us. So no. So unfortunately, I've saved the worst for last. I have some bad news I'd like to share. I normally don't talk about in this meeting announce when people are leaving the company, but this one is a very important one. Someone who's been here about 10 years, who's been here a long time, and they're leaving on good terms. They're friendly to the company, but I think we've known as soon as we started talking about acquisition, there's this potential for Greg's job to change a lot, and a lot of his job being worrying about money.
She eventually went to go work at Firewalk on Concord, by the way. Yeah. There's a bit later in the documentary where she has like a complete meltdown about like crunching at Double Fine and decides she's like, I'm leaving Double Fine. I'm gonna go work at Firewalk on Concord. Yeah.
Is going away. So although we could, invent a lot of new responsibilities for Greg to do, there's still stuff he's working on. I think Greg is understandably looking for the next step in his adventure and is going to be looking for that outside the company.
I didn't think about going ever until all the Microsoft stuff wrapped up. I think we did a good job of like holding on to what is special about Double Fine and making sure that was protected and not going to be touched in as much as possible by Microsoft, and that we can kind of just keep doing what we do. But kind of my job was the one thing that we weren't able to hold on to, I feel like.
And it's been, when you think about Greg's job and that being a journey to actually set us right and have us not worry about money anymore, you pretty much did that. So job done. Good job.
Yeah, that's what made it so exciting. It's a crazy roller coaster. The fact that we were able to write it out, make it work so long and end up in such a good spot is a real testament to a lot of people working real hard over here. Not gonna make it easy, huh? Yeah, I'm gonna be going to PlayStation, which is kind of funny in the scope of things.
When the game was year.
So while this clip was going on, I was actually reading that he is no longer, the Greg Rice is no longer the head of PlayStation creators, but he is currently the lead curator for Day of the Devs, which is that like indie event. And he does consulting with SIE still on A&R related activities. So not fully within the PlayStation scene anymore, but still a pretty important. So I think that's one of the names, and this is a point that I'm going to bring up when we talk about PlayStation on a different day, so I can zero in on that. There's a lot of names that people don't really know. They know like the big ones, but there's some names that are like behind the scenes that I think are almost like equally important for that. But let me get out of this and go to, I guess we'll just go back to that, but let me go back to the chat and read some of y'all's comments. So from Red Right Robot, this is the clip where Matt clearly doesn't like the idea of giving Double Fine devs ownership of things they make on the side. Yeah, so that's the thing, is that like These people are, this is the problem when you have a big corporate conglomerate come in and buy you up, is potential culture change. That is one of the biggest red flags when it comes to acquisitions. And you all saw it with the recent death of Bluepoint, where obviously the culture within that studio changed when PlayStation acquired them and poisoned them. Like the PlayStation basically poisoned them. They didn't shepherd them properly. They had a successful partnership with PlayStation for over 15 years. And then all of a sudden, when they get acquired and there's new leadership at PlayStation, that's when the problems start to happen. Not a coincidence to me. It's culture. And it's the same thing with this. When Double Fine was getting acquired by Xbox, and so far, at least like from an outside perspective, it looks like the culture hasn't really changed at Double Fine. But I'm willing to bet there are still some things that have changed at Double Fine because of Xbox's involvement. Like moonlighting, like developer moonlighting. Which, like you saw in that clip, was something that Tim Schafer was perfectly fine with. Because getting in the way of that stifles creativity. Because then it becomes about owning everything your team does on the side. If it's a little passion project, little indie passion project that blows up way bigger than anything at Double Fine, you know damn well Microsoft is gonna want to get in there and go, hey, we own that too. We had no hand in developing this. But it's ours now. Or fuck you, give us money to get us off of your backs. So the devs look pissed. Yeah, they didn't look very happy in that clip. Some of those images are very funny to me. Like I said, a picture says 1,000 words. Yeah, they did look upset. Hello, David. If you want to go run a startup, go run a startup. Yeah, that kind of response, like how blunt that is. I mean, it's like, wow, like tell me you don't give a shit without telling me you don't give a shit. So, Mr. Frog. No, this was filmed before Smiling Friends was a thing, so I don't think that was Mr. Frog, but maybe I'm wrong. I like their lounge. I see a bunch of consoles. Oh yeah, their lounge is pretty cool. You see it all the time in that documentary of theirs. Called him young man. Oh yeah, that's Tim Schafer's humor. Weird thing, I once very briefly ran into Tim Schafer at one of the PlayStation Experience conventions that I went to. And it was just like a really like odd where we were like passing by each other and I think like we both stopped for some reason. And I just looked over at him and I was like, "You're Tim Schafer." And he just went like, "Yep." And then we just parted ways and just never interacted beyond that. I doubt I highly doubt he remembers that interaction, but I remember it because I just thought it was very funny. I had a very similar interaction with Troy Baker when I met him at when I got a signing from like the people at Naughty Dog when they were doing like promotion for The Last of Us Part 2. And I think I still have that poster of some concept art with Ellie. And that's where I got to meet like Laura Bailey, Neil Druckmann, Ashley Johnson, the people who played what are their names? Lev and Yara. I think those were their names in The Last of Us 2. I met them, but like I had like actual like not conversations, but I had like exchanged multiple words with like everybody except Haley Grossman, who was the co-writer of The Last of Us 2, and then Troy Baker. He was the only other one that I just was like, I have no idea what to say to you. And I kind of just walked up to him. And by this point, I already had like a pretty like decently lengthy conversation with Laura Bailey and Ashley Johnson, who were both like very sweet, very nice. And then I get to Troy Baker and I'm like, hey. He just was like, sup? And that was it. That was the only interaction I had with Troy Baker when I had the chance to talk to him. So that was pretty funny. The Pottery in DK Bonanza is a better Pottery game than their multiplayer Pottery game. I mean, you don't know that, to be fair. I mean, it could have a really robust Pottery system. Like, I think that's actually a really great concept as a game, making Pottery and seeing it come to life. I think that's really cool. That reminds me of something like Rare would do. But then it's like, oh, it becomes a brawler game. Like, oh, okay. So that's Matt Booty. He's gonna be the CCO of PlayStation, and that mindset that you all saw in that clip from the Double Fine documentary, that is what is going to be driving Xbox. And also Asha Sharma's very pro AI stance, which yeah yeah, it's not a good day for Xbox. This really is like, you know, I've joked for a long time like, oh, Xbox is dead. Xbox is dead. The death of Xbox. This is actually like the death of Xbox. This is, here it is. We're at the end. We have made it through. It's not the tunnel of love necessarily. Like, what is it? Like the tunnel of turmoil. And here we are at the very end. We're done. The ride is over. It's time to get off. It's been a good, I don't know about good, but it was a good few years during the beginning of the 360 era, and like some of the early OG Xbox days were pretty cool. But the ride is over. Like with Phil Spencer retiring, that's it. It's done. Ride's over. So farewell, Xbox. It was fun while it lasted. And yeah, you know, good luck in retirement. I hope you enjoy your retirement. I'm not saying this like sarcastically. I genuinely hope he does enjoy his retirement, because these last few years, for as much shit as he's eaten and like the bullshit that he's had to do, it's like, you know, I'll come at this from like an empathetic stance at this point. This is where like my psychology training comes in, where I have to be like force myself to be empathetic and hold a place for clients and whatnot. But I will say, with regards to Phil Spencer, it cannot be easy getting shit day after 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 day for years and years and years and years. Cannot be good for the soul. It cannot be easy. So just in that sense of him just leaving and getting away from the business and getting away from getting pelted with shit and rotten tomatoes and whatnot, I hope he enjoys his retirement. But I have no, considering how many people he's had a hand in laying off with his bad decision making and his bad bets, I don't really feel for the guy beyond that. I mean, I'm sure he's getting a very nice like retirement package, you know, better than he deserves, in my opinion. And yeah, Xbox the final chapter. Did Tim Schafer not know the risk? Well, you got to remember, Richard, that when Double Fine was acquired, this was during the time before the big like pro AI push within Xbox, before the multi-platinum strategy push. This was maybe a few years before it started when Double Fine was acquired, because I think they were acquired either in 2018, or actually, so that was actually like 5 years before it really started to get like pushing, before the next gen started. So this was a totally different time in Xbox's era, like the Xbox timeline. I mean, think like 2018 PlayStation compared to now PlayStation. That's how vast of a gap of a difference it is as far as culture. So I can't blame Tim Schafer for giving his company up to Microsoft, because they were a totally different company at this time. or at least they were preaching a very different type of culture and ethos. So this is it. This is here we are. This is it's kind of surreal to think about, you know? I didn't think it would really happen this way, but I didn't think it would really happen at all, actually, at the beginning of, like, you know, when I started this channel. Because when I started this channel, it was like 2013. The Xbox One and the PS4 hadn't even come out yet. Very different time back then, and here we are, almost a little over 12 years later, and I'm gonna call it. I'm gonna call it, folks. Xbox, time of death. February 20th, 12:25 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's the death of Xbox. Time of death. Yep. Yeah. So, whatever future Xbox has now, it is purely just going to be a brand name. It's like I said, Xbox is just going to be a thing that Microsoft wears as a skin suit while it continues to push its AI garbage. I don't care what Asha Sharma says, it's AI slop into Xbox, but it's not Xbox anymore. Like, Xbox is dead. It's like a corpse. It's like one of those Night of the Living Dead zombies. Just a living corpse. And it's being, like, paraded around like a puppet by Satya Nadella and Asha Sharma while they pursue AI and bring the tech world to its knees. So, you know, and again, I'll say this for the final time. I've said this before, and I've said it a few times, but I'll say it again. Even when I was at my most annoying fanboyish phase with PlayStation, I never wanted this to happen. I never wanted Xbox to go down. I never wanted this to be their end fate. And now that we're here, to quote Lord of the Rings, at the end of all things, I am a little sad looking at this. Like, not for what Xbox has been, but for what Xbox could have been. Had they had better management and much more competent leadership and an actual, like, well-defined goal that Microsoft was willing to, like, see them through in its fruition. And it just makes me sad to see it end like this. So, I will end the stream here. This seems like an appropriate time to end it. I really don't have much to say anymore about this. I mean, it's just... it sucks. I mean, it really does suck. Again, like, not for what Xbox has been for the last, like, decade and change, but what it could have been. It really could have been, and they were on the right track to do it as well. Sometime at the beginning of this generation, where they were really, like, they were almost there. All they had to not do was buy Activision Blizzard. That was a stupid ass mistake in the long run, because it just completely corrupted Xbox and got the evil eye of Sauron, Satya Nadella, put on them. So, yeah. Anyway, thank you to everybody who came by for this very impromptu stream. Thank you, Richard. Thank you, Clay. Thank you, Nero. Thank you, Red Riot Robot. Thank you, RJ Emerson. Thank you, XYZ. Thank you, David. And RIP Xbox. Now you can go off into that gentle good night. Let angels sing thee to thy rest. And that's the end of Xbox. So, anyway, thank you all so much for watching, and I will catch you all. I'm looking to maybe do the big, like, PlayStation Bluepoint stream on Sunday. I don't know 100% yet, but you all will know. just pay attention to your sub feed and you all will know. So anyway, thank you all for coming by at a very short moment and watching. Rest in peace to Xbox, and I will catch you all later. Have a good one, everyone. Take care. Ah.